President Trump said he was gonna do it with an executive order creating a commission to investigate voter fraud.
Minnesota election officials say there were only a handful of voter irregularities in last year's presidential election.
That's despite allegations by President Donald Trump that millions of ballots were cast illegally across the country last year, including in Minnesota.
The official voting records were filed by all 87 Minnesota counties to Secretary of State Steve Simon, who says it's evidence there's not widespread voter fraud.
Could there be a scenario where there's like a bunch of voter fraud going on that we just haven't caught?
It's very, very unlikely.
What are the facts around claims of widespread voter fraud? First, an Old Dominion University report claiming up to 14% of non-citizens voted in the 2008 presidential election, with 24 million inaccurate voter registrations, 1.8 million dead people still on voter lists, and 2.8 million people registered to vote in more than one state.
There are people who made a mistake. There are people who believe, at least allegedly, that they were eligible to vote when they weren't eligible to vote.
Minnesota was one of the first states refusing to cooperate with this Trump voter fraud commission.
The president ended up losing Minnesota by just about 50,000 votes in 2016. The president already seems to be making it clear he thinks he can be the first Republican presidential candidate since Richard Nixon in 1972 to win Minnesota.
You know, Republicans in Minnesota are standing behind him. The voters that came out in great numbers that people weren't expecting to vote for the president, they are still standing with him. And I think we're going to see very positive momentum as we continue to inch closer to November of 2020.
In Minnesota, you are allowed to register at your polling place on Election Day. You can register online right now at mnvotes.org, or you can mail or drop off a paper form at the Secretary of State's office in St. Paul. The deadline to register in advance is 21 days before Election Day.